Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will see who was the empire sent to deal with Testarossa. If you haven't watched previous video or chapter, you can find the link in the description below. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, and click on the bell, so you won't miss my latest video. Without further ado, let's get started. Lieutenant General Geist, the head of the Mecha Legion and the beloved Lieutenant General of Calgurio, is in charge of the Magic Tank Division on this expedition. He was a muscular man of about 35 years of age. He stood proudly at the head of a state-of-the-art instructional vehicle configured in the rear, enjoying the atmosphere on the battlefield. The situation in the large forest around them was unchanged, and no one stood in their way. Geist, who was already used to this situation, began to think that this war was probably going to make him famous again. The invincible kingdom of the dwarves for 1,000 years, the armed kingdom of Dworgen is ruled by the heroic King Gazel, and will be brought down by my own hand. You can't find anything more painful than that in the sky. Geist will be applauded by the nations this time. A new hero will be born, and he will go down in history. Just going and dreaming about it makes Geist's heart ache. The man who defeated the heroic King Gazel, the title will be his. This will happen in the near future and is bound to come. After all, the magic-guided tank division led by Lieutenant General Geist had the corresponding combat power that made him so sure. 2,000 magic-guided tanks were neatly arranged. There was a plain at the foot of the mountain, and there were 20 magic tanks in the horizontal and vertical lines. Such a magnificent sight pleased Geist greatly. Yet this is just like the opponent's strategy. Each magic tank measures about 10 meters in length and 3.5 meters in width, and if there are 2,000 magic tanks stretched out, you have to choose a place to display them all. Geist laid out his troops in accordance with the findings of the prior investigation, which turned out to be exactly where they expected it to be on Rimuru. Such a thing Geist hadn't even thought about, but the man was an excellent soldier. Fit to serve as a lieutenant general, with excellent personal fighting ability. Geist thought to himself that he wasn't going to lose to the close knights. The reason I didn't make the cut was simply because I didn't get a chance to compete in the ranking battle. Since I've been assigned to this division, it means I'm on a military operation at all times. Such and such, he thought unpleasantly. Of course, it will be a very high post. In the Empire, it is a choice between one of 10,000, or the upper class, whose status is equal to that of a high-class nobleman. It would not be too much to say he was a distant existence in the eyes of the common man, but that did not satisfy Geist. One day he was going to replace Calgurio and make himself the army chief. And to be a hero afterwards. Geist has big ambitions. What he wanted was not money, but fame. So he didn't want to go through the maze, but to fight with the heroic King Gazel. And Geist is strong enough to embrace such ambitions. He has a unique technique called player, which is the ability to control the sound and analyze the situation by listening to a variety of sounds. He is also able to use special fluctuations to launch specific instructions, so that even in the midst of chaos, he can command his own army. This is the force best suited to command the legions, but it's not the only thing worth mentioning. The unique skill of the player also conceals a vicious attack. It is possible to manipulate the sound waves to irradiate the subject, using the sonic cannon for cellular destruction, and Geist is capable of such brutal tricks at will. Even within the Empire, Geist was certainly among the masters of the awesome. I'll admit that the near guards were strong. But that was because they had the legendary grade equipment given by His Majesty the Emperor's Imperial Court. Obviously, I'm the only one who deserves those things. With the legendary equipment, he can also earn the highest honor of single digits, the confidence of a Gestalt. Despite thinking about this all the time, Geist didn't take the combat operation lightly. The smell of the forest has changed. The surrounding voices suddenly broke off. Finding this out, Geist ordered to the whole army. Interrupt camping preparations and go on alert immediately. After giving the order, Geist focused even more, turning his attention to the patch of forest to his left. The sounds of birds and animals are gone, and there are no bug calls. There was always a sense of tension. And not only that, there was the sound of tiny footsteps. On top of that, there was the sound of leaves scraping closer and closer. The distance is long, but it's fast. Is the other side planning to attack by surprise? It's not a bad move, but it's a shame your opponent isn't that easy. Geist secretly snickered. Analyzing the sounds heard, the number of people approaching here was about 100. I heard that the Demon Lord's army was gathering in the inn town from which they had marched. This proves that Geist's plan is going well. The Demon Lord's army had been stationed in the inn town, and they missed the main body of the Imperial army. As the army of up to 700,000 approached, one wondered how panicked those monsters would be. Imagining the situation made Geist laugh wickedly. The sound was approaching a distance of 10 kilometers. We're about to enter the effective range of the magic-guided cannon. Its maximum range is up to 30 kilometers, but at this distance, the hit accuracy is not very good. The mere fact that it can attack that far is actually an effective range of about 3 kilometers. That said, you don't have to worry about the accuracy of your hits as long as you use special shells that explode. The enemy was few in number and had gathered in a small area, approaching here. As long as they don't come into the open, they think it's okay to take trees as shields. Too naive. Let's give them a greeting. The special shells are still in the trial stage and can only be prepared for 2 rounds, but the blast range is tens of meters. Explosive power is not explosive magic that can be compared to it. There would be tens of thousands of degrees of heat and storms that would deform even the entire topographic landscape. Only the command vehicles in which Geist travels are equipped with this special product, but Geist does not shy away from it. He didn't hesitate to fill the cannon and keep the muzzle pointed at the forest. Instructions were then given to the battle group. This is just in case, if the enemy is still alive, they will meet it immediately. Left squad, turn counterclockwise. The soldiers were originally preparing tents for camping, however they were about 30 kilometers from the Dwarven Kingdom and were on guard at all times. As soon as they heard Geist's order, they got to work unhurriedly packing up their things and putting them into the wagon being towed by the magic tank. It wasn't long before everyone had finished preparing for battle. In time to catch Geist's order, the left column, up to 500 vehicles, all floated into the air and headed for the forest. And just like that, Geist, they were ready to go. As if always waiting for this moment. A magical creature appeared in the depths of the dense forest. With 2 horns on their heads, they are monstrous creatures with the appearance of wolves. That huge body made people stare blankly. At 5 meters tall, even with a magic tank, it was no less impressive. I remember in the report given by the intelligence agency there was a mention of this magical creature called Ranga. Seems to be teased as the Demon Lord's pet, but his strength is equivalent to A+. That's a lot to take in. There's only one. What exactly is the plan? No, it turns out. Geist wondered what their purpose was. Since it came alone, it was not to fight. The purpose is to warn us. That's right, in order to protect their position as monster lords, they cannot lose to their enemies in their aura. Ha ha, that's stupid. You are going to send a master like Ranga to oppress your enemies and suppress your opponent's fighting spirit. That's how Geist interpreted it. It seems that Demon Lord Rimuru's pride is high. Do you want to preserve the prestige of the Demon Lord even if you give up the advantage of a sneak attack? Speaking of which, Geist laughed aloud. The other generals laughed along with it, and the soldiers thus ceased to be nervous and only remained appropriately nervous. Ranga came nearby. He's got a leisurely pace and doesn't look like he's going to fight. It looked like Geist was right in guessing at the other side was aiming to deal with them. Coming to a place a stone's throw away from Geist and the others, about 10 meters away, Ranga finally stopped in his tracks. A woman sat sideways with her body on his back and then jumped gracefully. Not a sound, not a whisper. Then walked unthinkingly ahead of Geist and the others. Seeing that beauty unlike all human women, a chill ran down Geist's back, like being held against an ice knife. How could? This woman's voice is not quite right. It's a heartbeat sound, but the melody is eerie. There was also the sound of blood flowing. Yet compared to the human voice, it sounded quieter and faster. No, it's too fast. If the blood flowed at this rate, the human body could not bear it at all. Ranga was long gone from Geist's eyes. He kept looking at the woman. Pure white long hair flowed down beautifully, adding to that beauty. But the other part was wearing serious military uniforms that didn't match that beauty. The lower half of the body was worn like riding pants, with a rounded, slow swelling curve in the thigh area. There was another person riding on Ranga's back, and Geist didn't bother to notice her. That was because the woman exuded enough eerie scent to make Geist put all his attention on it. What is she? The intelligence agency gave the information without this figure. This woman is more dangerous than Ranga, who is a main subordinate, right? Geist really wants to rebuke the intelligence services. But the person who wanted to complain to him wasn't there. At the moment, the appearance of the demon lord's close attendant was more important than that. In order to hide the fact that his aura had been overpowered, he spoke to the woman in a tone full of majesty. You are a messenger from the demon lord Rimuru, are you not? The timing of the contact was sooner than expected, but the demon lord's minions were pretty good. So, what's the matter with coming here? Seeing Geist ask such a question, the woman responded with a voluptuous smile. Greetings everyone, my name is Testarossa. This land is governed by the great demon lord Rimuru, of whom I am a confidant. So, as to what I'm here for today. When that was said, the smile on the woman's lips, Testarossa, deepened. It was a very wicked smile. If you leave like this, I'll leave you alone. But I am not at liberty to continue the invasion. I have come this time to deliver these words from our Lord. Those eyes, redder than blood, glittered, and Testarossa declared so. That's all for today. Hope you enjoy the video. For the next upload, we will see what happened after Testarossa talked to Geist and how Geist react. See you in my next video.